Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Eating Out in Vegas. Okay, let's just address the elephant in the room. Yes, during this time of year, my hats get more and more eclectic, exuberant, bigger, brighter, sometimes animated, sometimes lit up. Yeah, just crazy me. Anyhow, I had stated before that we were going to go backwards a little bit. Another one of our fairly recent ones, but that was a couple weeks ago that we went to, was a place called Eddie's Mexican Restaurant. Now, this is technically or formerly Macayos. Now, if anybody who has been local for any length of time within even just the last 10 years, you should know exactly what Macayos is. Macayos has been around since 1946. It started in Arizona and it came here approximately 59 years ago. I grew up with this food and it was more than established prior to me ever experiencing it. We saw a location on, I believe it was Sahara, back in probably sometime in the 70s or early 80s. And unfortunately, it had closed down. It was near bowling alley and whatnot. Then we saw one that was on Paradise, and we'd been to that one growing up and had met a really fantastic waitress named Gloria, who, best server ever, took real good care of us. And then that Macayos location closed down, and they opened the location over on East Tropicana. Went there. I mean, when I'm telling you, this was my favorite restaurant growing up. And it continued to be my favorite restaurant as an adult. Just absolutely loved this place. One of the main things that we would always get would be the chili con queso. It's this amazing cheese dip. And I don't care how many other Mexican restaurants I've been to that will serve queso. It's not the same. Whatever this place did, they mastered it. It's fantastic. And just can't say enough nice things about it. Some people considered the place, a little on the lesser value side or something like that, or maybe not quite authentic Mexican food. It was more Mexican American food versus authentic Mexican. But it didn't matter. I mean, this was our place. This is where we went to. They opened up one over on East Charleston, and then they opened up another one later on, I believe, on West Sahara, like far, far, far west. And unfortunately, Macayos have since closed, at least in Las Vegas. The final restaurant, the one that was left standing as being the oldest one, was the one on East Charleston. And that one closed, I believe, back in September. Huge loss. Absolutely loved this place. Well, apparently somebody else loved this place too. And they decided to fight to get the rights of it and keep Macayos going here. And I'm not quite sure the full backstory on all of this. I do know that Macayos is still thriving in Arizona. There's, probably anywhere from 6 to 8 locations still up in Arizona, anywhere from Tempe to Goodyear to Surprise, Arizona, whatnot. And I'm guessing they didn't want there to be a franchise in Vegas anymore. I'm not, like I said, I'm not quite sure exactly what the backstory is. I do know that this gentleman named Eddie wanted to pursue keeping this tradition here in Vegas. I mean, 59 years. It's very sad to see a restaurant, especially it's kind of that comfort food. I mean, when you find that comfort food, for it to just go away, there's something seriously lacking. And so this guy took it upon himself to try to keep this going, and unfortunately he had a huge fight on his hands. He was trying to keep it as closely related to the place as possible, and they just kept fighting and fighting and fighting with him. He wanted to call it the Blue Macaw. They had a problem with that. So ultimately, it ended up being called Eddie's Mexican Restaurant. Fantastic place. So happy that he was able to do what he needed to do to keep the Macayos flavors and atmosphere alive. So Eddie's Mexican Restaurant, aka the New Macayos, is located on 9695 West Flamingo Road in Las Vegas. 89147 is the zip, in case you guys need to Google it. The hours are Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. If you're local and you've been down there to the Macayos, you must go to Eddie's. Like I said, the food's identical. I believe they were able to keep a good portion of the same menu items. I think they were able to keep the names the same. You can go online and to eddiesmexicanrestaurant.com and view the menu online. They have the lunch menu and the dinner menu on there. This review is actually going to cover 2 visits. The first visit, the whole family went, including my mom. So it was very exciting for us. We had a day out and did one of the escape rooms because a new location opened up in Town Square. And since we were all out, and Macayos was equally our favorite place to go to, and we hadn't gotten to go to Eddie's yet, we all wanted to definitely take notes together and compare and see if everything tasted the same. So one of the things that we always get that is a staple, like I mentioned earlier, is the chili con queso. Again, the flavor of it's spot on, exactly the same as what it was. It's fantastic. It's addicting. And all of us agreed. It tasted exactly the same. Then my mom ended up getting a TCT, which is a toasted cheese tortilla, and she had green chili, onion, and ground beef on it. Same thing, same size, presented the same way. I was able to try it. Fantastic flavor. It tasted the same. I can't complain. I mean, the only thing is it's not called Macayos anymore, but in my book, it's Macayos. And if there is new stuff there that, being Eddie's, if they have implemented their own recipes in there, hopefully I'll get a chance to try those so that, it can be kind of like a standalone dish for themselves to, go off of their own credibility. So again, the whole family was there. So my daughter, she tried one of our mutually favorite dishes, which was the pollo con espinaca. And that's a grilled chicken breast. It's smothered in Baja sauce and mixed with spinach and served with rice, beans, and tortillas. Since she was getting that, I wanted to make sure I covered another dish that I normally got over there, and that was the Baja Chimichanga. Again, I can't express it's identical. So if, anybody out there has had Macayos and has also been to Eddie's, and leave me some feedback. Let me know what you thought, if you agree with us that it tasted exactly the same, if you were happy with it, whatnot. It was great to see the building, very clean, spacious. Was just real excited about the overall experience that we received. One of the things, because they were a little bit on the busy side, seeing as they're newly opened and whatnot, and the Macayos fandom is starting to realize where this place is at and everything, and going to it and whatnot, it's hopping. So we chose to eat in the bar area because there's always, you know, immediate seating there, and you know, versus waiting for a table. Now, my husband, he chose to do the Baja burrito. So basically, you know, it's kind of the same as the chimmy. It's just a different way of how it's cooked. So, and he thought it was great, that it tasted the same, and was really excited about it. Now, our second visit, it ended up just being my husband and I. And as equally fantastic, maybe even a little bit more. Maybe I think my expectations were raised. I actually ended up finding a new dish that I think is my new favorite now. I ended up doing the stuffed poblano pepper, and this was at Jake's suggestion. Again, we ate in the bar, and we had 3 fantastic people waiting on us and just chatting with us. And it was Ruben, Jake, and Chad. And Chad says if we're not happy with him, his name's Manuel. So I feel bad for Manuel if, you know, Chad were to ever screw up. Because Manuel's really going to get it. But no, Chad and the other guys, they were fantastic. We loved the service, loved the conversation. They were some great guys. They talked football and whatnot, and again, it was a good experience. But when Jake suggested, I was going in between doing, say, like the chili relleno versus the poblano, and I really like this. The chicken, the combination of things that they put in there, the chicken and the cheese and whatnot, and how they deep fried it, fantastic. That crunchy exterior, it was wonderful. Like I said, I found my new favorite. And my husband, he did the Tostada Grande. He did the full order of the Tostada Grande. And the only problem that he really said with that, he says it did seem like the portion might be a little bit smaller. Normally when he would have that, he would be just stuffed and didn't want to have anything else afterwards. This time he was still a little bit hungry afterwards. I mean, we ordered the chili con queso again, you know, so he munched on that and some chips and some salsa. Which, by the way, I didn't mention the salsa at the first portion. Exact same salsa. I mean, exactly. I'm the one that I don't like the chunky one. I like the hotter, smoother sauce, and my husband likes the chunky salsa, so it works out well. He takes the one bowl, I take the other, and they taste exactly the same. The only other thing with his Tostada Grande that he said that was I don't want to say off-putting, but that was it just, off-putting is a bad word. It's not the word that I'm looking for. Basically what the problem was is that he said that it was kind of an issue with the cold toppings. There were so many cold toppings, the sour cream, whatnot, the lettuce, that he said he think it kind of made the rest of the meal get cold. It made the hot portions get colder faster because the cold toppings were, if that makes sense. Don't know really how to put this into words, but you know, so yeah, he said it, so his food wasn't piping hot. He thinks because of all the cold toppings that were on top of it, it just kind of cooled everything off. So not sure what anybody can do with that, you know, but anyhow, otherwise, yeah, another fantastic visit. Like I said, we went there twice. We had 6 different dishes between both experiences, and everything stayed consistent with what we know as being Macayos. And so congratulations, Eddie's. You know, you did it. Thank you for saving the traditional comfort food that I was used to growing up. And we'll be seeing you guys a lot more. And, you know, can't wait. And please, if anybody else has experienced Eddie's or has their own stories from Macayos and you'd like to share, please feel free, you know, leave some messages for me. And thank you guys for watching, and happy holidays. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and share. I appreciate it. You guys have a great one. Thanks.